Hi everyone, and welcome back to my Wine Diary, the channel where everything is wine related. This marks our third video of the Unwind series, the series where we talk different life topics while drinking wine. And before we jump into today's video, I'd really like for you to consider subscribing to this channel. The subscribe button is right down below, together with the little bell that will notify you of my weekly videos coming out. You're helping me out, I'm helping you out by shooting some fun, interesting content, so let's make sure to subscribe. Guys, I turned 30 last year, and with that came a lot of other very important events in my life. So not only that I turned 30, I also got engaged, I bought a house, actually a condo with my fiance, so it was a very big investment for both of us and a very important step in both of our lives. So besides turning 30 and just becoming more mature in general, all of those other factors such as planning for the wedding and paying mortgage all of a sudden made me come to a realization that I need to adjust my lifestyle so that I can save more money. This is exactly what prompted this video, and I want to show you and tell you a few tips and tricks that I've been doing for the past year in order to save more money. The number one thing that I want to talk about today that will help you save money tremendously is saying goodbye to your debt. I had to learn this gradually as I applied for credit cards in my 20s, as I had car loans and any other types of loans that I might have had before. With age, I've learned how to deal with debt and how to eventually not have it. Being debt-free is so absolutely liberating. So try to say goodbye to your debt by paying it off gradually. So when I say gradually, that's something that helped me in the past. What I was doing for years now is what's called a debt snowballing effect. And that really means that you're paying off your debt starting from the smallest to the biggest. And the way that works is that it really just changes our mindset more than it actually changes the numbers. So once you get into a habit of constantly paying your debt and constantly putting money aside to cover that up and eventually getting rid of it, your mind will change and you will eventually get rid of that debt. So please be very careful when it comes to debt. It's extremely easy for us to keep putting things on our credit cards if we have them. And then once we get our paychecks and everything comes to our checking account, sometimes we get into that mentality, oh, I'll pay my credit card debt off later, because the big number on your checking account, on your debit card, is just so appealing to look at and you don't want to say goodbye to it. Well, trust me, I would much rather say goodbye to my checking account numbers to say goodbye to my debt. So my number one advice, do that. It will help you not only to feel better and feel more liberated, to be more stable on your feet when it comes to finances, but it will also help you to increase your credit score. My advice number two for you today in order to save money will be to cancel your automatic subscriptions, or at least that you don't use on a regular basis. Funny thing about automatic subscriptions is that you can always resubscribe to them. So try it out, get a little revision sheet or revision day of all of your automatic subscriptions, maybe find them in your emails or on your bank account, and see which ones of those you actually use on the regular. And if some of them you're just kind of like on the fence of either canceling or not, go ahead and cancel them anyway and see how you feel. A lot of them will no problem allow you to resubscribe again. But the thing is, we get into this gerbil wheel of falling for the companies selling us monthly subscriptions or annual subscriptions, saying that there is a discount to get a subscription versus to get it monthly, and that's how we fall for it. And then a lot of times we don't realize that we don't really need that in our lives anymore, or we can live without it, which is basically the same thing. And another thing that I want to advise to you on the same note is that some of the subscriptions you can actually share accounts to with your family or your friends, for instance. So such as Netflix, Netflix I think can be used up to 3 different people or can be viewed on 3 different screens just from one simple basic account that they allow. This is what me and my fiance do as well. We share our Netflix. Amazon Prime would be another great one too. So if you currently became engaged and moved in with someone, or say if you're living with a friend, both of you don't need to have that Prime account. So just share one and pay only one bill versus two. My tip number 3 for you on how to save your money is to cut down on your groceries expense. And I am so guilty of this one. It's literally making me laugh. I love grocery shopping, and unfortunately for our wallet, so does my fiance as well. So we kind of overspend money on groceries. But it is absolutely shocking to a lot of people after they do their budget by the end of the month to actually figure out how much they spend on groceries. And an average family of 4 actually spends about $1,000 a month on groceries. $1,000 a month. And I'm not talking about going out. I'm not talking about going to a cafe, restaurant, or a bar. That's all extra. I'm talking only about going to a grocery store. Hear me out. It is so easy to go to a grocery store and just keep grabbing a pack of chips here, pack of cookies here, or all of the things look so inviting and so nice on those shelves and you want to grab it all. Well, truth be told, a lot of times we grab way more groceries than we actually need. I am not going to leave you hanging here not to tell you a few tips and tricks on how to shop in a grocery store or what to do in order to save your money on groceries too. So listen up, people, write things down right now. So number 1 thing that you can do is to start planning your meals for the week. We do this. I've done it before, especially with meal preps. If you're into fitness, for instance, this is a great idea for you to have a better understanding of how much food you actually need to last you through the week. Because you don't really want to buy more groceries than a week worth anyway, because things may turn bad on you. So try to plan your meals through the week. The second thing that you need to start doing in order to save money on groceries is to do an inventory check. This is a very easy thing to do. So I'll give you an example. Instead of, like we used to do before with my fiance, just meeting at a grocery store after work, we now actually come home, open the fridge, and see what's missing in the fridge. What are the things that we need to buy, and what are the things that we still have? Because before, with the latter option that we used to do, we would buy things just from our memory, thinking we were out of them, and doing the inventory check, which is the latter option, allows you to see how much of what product you actually still have in the fridge and what is actually missing. So do your inventory check as well. The other 2 are kind of silly, however, I think they work wonders. Number 1 is do not shop on an empty stomach. It may sound really silly, but trust me, we do buy more groceries when we're hungry. So eat something before you go to that grocery store. When you're hungry, you by default, somehow it's just our psychology, we will grab more food than we actually need. And on the same note with that, my other tip for you when it comes to the grocery store is leave your kids at home. This is a proven track record too. For some reason, actually for an obvious reason, what am I talking about? Kids just grab things. So you end up buying way more stuff going to a store with a kid. So leave your kids at home, eat before you go to a grocery store. And the very last thing here that I want to mention when it comes to groceries is try a pickup option or a delivery option when it comes to your groceries, especially now with the pandemic, or even before the pandemic, those services existed already. You can go online to almost every major grocery store chain and order things online, or you can order them to be picked up. So most stores do this nowadays, and it's safer because you don't have to be amongst the other people, which will help you social distance as well, and it will also help you watch how many things you actually get. My tip number 4 for you today on how to save money is to start buying generic. Hands down, one of the easiest ways for you to save your money is to stop buying name brands. Most of the times, the only thing that's actually better about a name brand is their marketing. Hands down, just look at that box. It's such a nice label, such a nice packaging. That's it. That's marketing. That's exactly how they get you. And then they raise the price just because their box looks better and their marketing is much better than the one of the generic brand. Generic brands end up being just as good when it comes to food, when it comes to medicine, cleaning supplies, anything like that. So start buying generic and stop wasting your money on name brands. My tip number 5 and the very last tip for today is to stop going out as much. And it's a hard one for me to say because I really enjoy the social aspect of going out. I really like seeing new restaurants, trying new food, looking at different places. But what I've come to realize, especially this year in 2020, everything was put under question mark when it comes to social outings and doing stuff in public in general. What I came to realize is that we really don't even need going out to have a great time. I've known that before, but this year it just completely got cut in stone for me, and I really realized that eating at home is just as fun. Drinking at home is just as fun too. I caught myself so many times on going out to bars and restaurants with my fiance, and by the time we spent $100, we're thinking about how our balcony views are actually much better than this restaurant views. So we would just pack our things and go home. So next time we would remember that and think about why to even go out when we have such a great view here and we have all the food and drinks at home as well. And besides just sitting at home, there's so many other things that you can do with your friends or with your family or your partner without going out and spending a lot of money. So you can take a picnic and have some food and drinks on a picnic. You can go to the beach, you can watch a sunset. So trust me, you don't need to go out to a restaurant and spend a lot of money if you want to have a great time or even simply get out of the house. And lastly, on this note, I also want to mention, and tell me if you agree with me in the comments down below, please, but drinks are not even that good in a restaurant or a bar. Most of the time, for me and my fiance personally, the drinks are a little too weak. So we always ask them to spike it up a little bit more, and then we end up getting doubles and spending double money on that as well. So just trust me, at home you can make your drink just the way you like it, and it will be much better than a restaurant's drink. And when it comes to wines, for instance, you can say, well, what about wine? Wine is the same at a restaurant and at home as well. Yes and no, it is probably 2 to 3 times more expensive at a restaurant. It is a very well-known fact that restaurants do an upcharge of 100 to 200% on their wine bottles. I've done the research, trust me. All in all, I must say that it is such an empowering feeling to start saving more money, to be out of debt, and to be more in control of your finances and in your future as well. I've done it, it works. I'm still on my way to become more conscious of my spendings and of my savings as well. But just trust me, it's a part of adulting and it can come to you at different age. So for me, that adulting part came to me in my mid-20s, for instance. And for some people, it never comes, I suppose. But to be more aware of that and to start saving money for a better cause will definitely help you in the long run as well. I would like to thank you for joining me today for this Unwind series. I would like for you to check out my latest video on the same series here. That one was about how to become a brand ambassador, where I talked in details about what to do, how to approach a brand, how to make sure that it's a long-term partnership, what to say, what not to say, literally every step of the way. So it's a very, very helpful video. I will link it right up here on the screen, so make sure to check it out. And if you still haven't subscribed to this channel, please go ahead and subscribe. It will really make my day. The subscribe button is right down below right there, as well as that notification bell that you can click on. Thank you again, and until next time, cheers.